Welcome to Parenting Successful Teens, the podcast that cuts through the overwhelm and stress of this phase and offers parents simple, practical, cognitive, science-based strategies for keeping their teens on track. Join Master Coach and real-life mom, Allie Irwin, to talk about real teens, real problems, and the skills it takes to raise successful adults.
Hello, everybody. One of my goals with this podcast is to help you believe that you are already a good mom. Because if you think about it, you know all of that advice that we've heard since our kids were babies, that if you want your child to behave better, like you catch them doing the right things and you praise them for doing the right things, and then they do more of the right things. And it's like that with ourselves too, right? We want to catch ourselves being a good mom. And then we actually create more of that good momness. We learn over time, we become our own ally. And over time, we live up to our own expectations. So with that in mind, we're going to play a little game today. I'm going to read you 3 little media pieces that came across my desk at some point in the last week or two that I've been saving. I'm going to share them with you, and then I want you to notice how you feel when I'm done sharing them. So I just want you to notice the feelings that come up as you're listening. Okay, so the first one is from Business Insider. That's a business magazine. I'm not even really sure why they're giving parenting advice. I actually am sure, and we'll get to that when we're done reading this little bit. But the name of the article was 15 Easy Ways to Become a Better Parent. And when you click on it and scroll in, it says, number 1, follow through. And then there's a little paragraph after each, but we're not going to read all that. I'm just going to skim through some of the suggestions. So number 1 was to follow through. Number 2 was to schedule distraction-free time. Number 3 was to have one consistent daily activity. Number 4 was to label feelings. Number 5 was to hand out compliments. Number 6, monitor screen time. How you feeling? I'm not even halfway through. And do you feel good, or are you already kind of overwhelmed and stressed? Are there 2 or 3 of them you feel like you've already blown it on today? For me, those articles are not very helpful in feeling like I'm doing a good job as a mom. I mean, even just in the title, 15 Easy Ways, to schedule a consistent daily activity with teenagers with, a million pulls at their time, that's not easy. Scheduling distraction-free family time. I can't even imagine getting the iPad away from my husband, let alone getting everyone completely off the grid on a regular basis. You add all these things together, 15 of them, and I feel discouraged or guilty. I'm trying really, really hard to do all the right things as a mom, but whatever I'm doing, it's not good enough. There's always more. Okay, the second little media piece. So just notice that feeling when you click on articles like that. The second article that came across my desk this week was about mom jeans saving the denim industry. Here we go. In the beginning, the mom prefix did to jeans what it does to everything else. Calling a pair of pants mom jeans implied that they were frumpy or dowdy, the absolute antithesis of cool. The pants are a garment that says, I'm not a woman anymore, I'm a mom. How you feeling now? I feel super pissed off whenever I read articles like that make adding the mom prefix to a noun mean it's uncool. I could do a whole podcast about how they tell women that being a mother is the epitome of womanhood. I have so many friends that have chosen not to have kids, and they talk about the constant pressure, like somehow they're not a real woman if they don't want to have kids. But then the minute you do, you become, everything associated with you becomes the antithesis of cool. Like that makes me feel super irritated when I read articles like that. Okay, does that make me feel good about being a mom? And then the third thing that came across my desk this week was a podcast on the difference between fear and love, like those two voices telling you what to do. And it was, the purpose of the podcast was about making decisions from a place of love, which is a good idea. But then the speaker said that fear speaks to you in long, rambly sentences. It's a critical voice, kind of like your mom's. I was like, hold my earrings. I don't know why moms' voices are used as the voice of fear rather than the voice of love. Hearing that in the podcast, I immediately stopped it because these kinds of things are enough to make us crazy. And they're definitely not designed to help us believe that we're doing a good job as moms. With that in mind, what I want to suggest is that we do a media detox. That in order to stay sane, in order to more easily hold the belief that we're good moms, we stop clicking on things that make us feel like bad moms. It's really a very easy two-step process designed to help you feel more like the good mom you already are. I'm trying to keep the attitude out of my voice because this really wound me up this week. The first step is to opt out of these bullshit articles. We need to stop clicking on things that make us feel bad. Okay, there is no reason to read articles that complain about mom jeans or say that mom jeans are the antithesis of cool. Okay, or things that say a mom's voice is equal to the voice of fear and it's long and rambly and critical. Or that first one, that overwhelming list of 15 easy ways, like those lists, I can't think of a time that I learned something useful on one of those lists. What I want you to do is take a minute right now and just think about what you allow into your mental diet. Like what comes across your desk on a weekly basis? What do you read? TV shows you watch, people you hang out with. If any of those things make you feel bad, just stop reading that stuff. Stop clicking on those 10 easy tips articles that just make you feel overwhelmed and like, most of them, those articles are so short and so vague. There isn't helpful information in them anyway. There isn't a reason to give mental space to things that make you feel bad as a mom. It's not helping your family. It's not making you a better mom. Both in my practice and in the research, I see that it actually makes you a worse mom. It's not a good use of your time to do things that make it harder to believe that you're a good mom. Okay, so that is step one, is to go on a mental diet and stop allowing those things into your world. Stop clicking on those articles. When you hear that in a podcast, just shut it off. If you hear a friend talking smack about moms and moms' choices, just change the topic. Don't allow those things mental space. But it's not a perfect system, right? We can't count on being able to filter out all of the things that are out there that are putting pressure on moms. And so the second step is designed to help those things that get by our filter. Okay, when we get triggered, when we're feeling guilty, what we need to develop is a mental delete button. and the ability to refocus on believing in our inherent good momness. And we do this, our mental delete button is managing our mind. Okay, the basics of managing your mind are based on cognitive behavioral therapy, which has been around since the 60s. And there's even a book from the 90s titled Managing Our Mind. So these aren't new ideas, but a lot of people don't understand, a lot of people that haven't been in traditional cognitive behavioral therapy, like they don't understand how easy these ideas are to put into practice in our daily life. So the basis of managing your mind is the idea that our thoughts and feelings drive our action. Put together, our thoughts and our feelings and our actions, those create our reality rather than our reality creating our thoughts. I think that's a little easier to see if I play this out in an example. So I'm going to go back to Business Insider article. And this one said the title of the article was "The Most Successful Kids Have Parents Who Do These 9 Things, According to Science." Okay, so just notice what happens in your brain when you hear that title. The most successful kids have parents who do these 9 things, according to science. Okay, some people's brains are already freaked out because 9 sounds like a lot. So you see the article and you might have a thought about it like, 9 sounds like a lot. And that thought, 9 sounds like a lot, causes a feeling, maybe a little bit of fear or curiosity or overwhelm. Like for different people, it will cause different feelings. But your finger hovers over the hot link while you decide whether to click on it and read the article or not. So you see something and then you have a thought about it. And then that thought causes a feeling. And then that feeling decides whether or not you're going to click on the article. Okay, and while you're deciding, maybe another thought comes along, like maybe I better click on this and make sure I'm doing as many of these as I can because I want my kid to be successful. If you're having that thought, you might have a little fear of missing out come up. Maybe some more thoughts like, I don't want to not do something that would be easy to do that could change. You might be going through that process and having fear come up. And then the minute that fear comes up, you're going to click on the article and read it. So it isn't the title that's making you click on the article. It's your feeling of fear. Your feeling is driving the action of clicking on the article. And this is really important to know because sometimes we're doing things and we can't even figure out why we're doing them. We know that we want to be finishing up a work project, but we find ourselves diving into Facebook. So if there's an action that we don't want to be taking, it's that you can go up a step and notice what you were feeling that made you take that action. Maybe in the work example, it's dread. But in this example with a Business Insider, it's probably a little bit of fear. Okay, so we're going to keep going. So you're reading the article and you've scanned it, and 4 of the 9 are things that you've been doing wrong or you couldn't do if you tried. Like one of the gems in the article said that if you want to raise successful kids, it's important that the mom work outside the home. Now, imagine you've stayed home with your kids this whole time and you've sacrificed financially, you've sacrificed, in other ways. And now, like the article is weighing in with a suggestion that maybe you've made a bad decision and you're having thoughts, you're having anxiety about your choice now. And it's important to notice all that. And it's important to know that these articles have been written to cause anxiety. They're designed to get your attention. They find the most anxiety-producing things and they put that out there because they want you to click on them. That's why Business Insider is putting parenting articles out on the web, is because they know moms are reading those. Moms are reading Business Insider. They're or these kinds of articles will expose moms to Business Insider, and they want you to click on them because advertisers will pay like the bigger readership and audience they have. So Business Insider is writing these articles to get you to click so that they can get advertising revenue. Okay, they're doing this on purpose because they know if they write these kinds of articles, you will have certain kinds of thoughts, and those thoughts will cause feelings that will get you to click on the article. Another mom could read that same suggestion that it's important that moms work outside the home, and they could feel vindicated. Like, I've been feeling guilty all these years working, and now I see that it's helping my family. Thank goodness. The fact that two different moms read the same piece of advice and one feels vindicated and one feels frustrated really point out that the words on the page, the research from Harvard, is not causing the moms to have the feelings that they're having. The feelings that the moms are having are based on the thoughts that they had. Okay, one mom thinks, oh, good, I'm glad that my job is helping my kids because it's too late to do anything about it now. And another mom is thinking, I feel really frustrated. Like, I quit my job and now science is telling me it's bad for my kids. Like, what's even the point? I'm feeling frustrated. The words on the page didn't create those feelings. The mom's thoughts about the words are what created the feelings. Here's the part where it becomes important to me. When we feel like we're doing a bad job, we are actually more likely to take all kinds of actions that go against what we really want to do. We're more likely to yell at our kids. We're more likely to have an extra glass of wine when we get home from work. We're more likely to lose an hour scrolling on Facebook. Okay, we're more likely to do things that numb us out against that feeling, and less likely to do the things that we actually want to do that would actually help us be a good mom. Okay, our feelings are important. And for the moment that you're reading that article and having the feelings that you're having, you're letting that article dictate what makes for a good mom. Okay, you're putting that article in charge of your thoughts, and those thoughts are leading you to feel like you're a bad mom or a good mom. Honestly, it wouldn't be that big of a deal if it just happened with like one article once a day. But the truth of the matter is when you're not in charge of your own thoughts, when you're not thinking things on purpose that support your belief that you're doing a good job as a mom, those kinds of things happen all day long. And the more belief we have that we're a marginal mom, the easier it is for an outside event to trigger those thoughts in our mind. Okay, and the more those thoughts are triggered, the stronger the belief gets that we're either a good mom or that we're screwing up. Okay, a belief is really just a thought that you think frequently. And as our thoughts form into beliefs, our brain physically changes to be more efficient at thinking those things. We develop more physical receptors so that we can think that thought more and more quickly with less and less energy. Actual myelinated sheaths get developed. And like I said, you actually get more receptors so that you can think that thought more efficiently. When you think about it, it's just like you memorize multiplication facts, and now you don't have to actually think what 7 times 7 is. Like that number just pops in your head, or 2 plus 2. It's easier and easier to just know those things. And the same thing happens with thoughts about whether you're a good mom or a bad mom. Okay? And if you have beliefs that you're not doing a good job, and then you see things that remind you of that belief, it's absolutely going to create feelings of guilt and shame and overwhelm and fear and frustration and anxiety and all the things that don't help you be a better mom. So what I want you to do is to go on a media detox. Okay, notice how you're feeling before you click on links. If you're feeling some kind of fear or anxiety, like, oh, I have to read this, I don't want to miss out on important information, don't take the bait. Just keep yourself moving. Just remind yourself that you don't need that. That's just a little bit of thought poison that you can just pass right on by. And if you have friends whose Facebook posts consistently make you feel like crap, just try hiding them for 30 days. Just try hiding those types. You can click on Facebook and say something like, see fewer of these posts, and just put those away. Like, I had a friend a whole bunch of years ago whose Christmas letters always made me feel super guilty. They were just like, she was a lovely person and we're still friends. But one year I just decided to stop opening those letters. Like, every other thing about her was so lovely, but those letters always sent me into a spiral. So I just stopped opening them. And we can do the same kinds of things with social media. You don't have to read every single thing that people put out. And if those thoughts trigger negative feelings, like, you can just skip them. But I don't want you to have the mistaken perception that those things are actually causing the negative feelings. Okay? What brings those bad mom feelings up are the thoughts that you're having about the thing. If I were to get that Christmas letter today, it wouldn't have nearly the same effect on me that it did years ago before I learned to manage my mind. Okay, now I know if I'm feeling anxious, just ask myself, what am I thinking that's causing that feeling? Thinking that mom is better at juggling all her responsibilities than I am. And I would know to question that thought right away and just remind myself all the things that I'm doing and all the ways that I'm totally there and handling all the complex responsibilities that we all have as moms. Okay, I would be able to tell myself a better feeling thought, and that letter wouldn't affect me anymore. But while you're learning to manage your mind, if you can avoid something that triggers you, absolutely just avoid it. So going back to that article about the mom that stayed home versus the mom that worked, like, if that's something that triggered you, you could find a thought that produces a better feeling and is believable and choose to think that on purpose. So you see something that triggers you, you ask yourself, well, what am I thinking that's making me feel so terrible? And then come up with a couple of thoughts that you could just choose on purpose to think instead. It could be something like, there are benefits to working and benefits to staying home. Or it could be, there's lots of different ways to be a good mom. Or it could be, that wouldn't have worked for me because my family chose to do it this way. It doesn't really matter what the thought is. I certainly can't tell you what thought is going to feel better, but you can absolutely think of a handful of thoughts that are going to feel better in every situation that come up that make you feel like you're a bad mom. And it's worthwhile to just spend a quick second and think those thoughts on purpose, to come up with a thought, and then keep choosing it over and over anytime those other feelings try to rear their head. Okay, it sounds like it's going to take time, but it takes less time than zoning out on Facebook for 15 minutes or the negative repercussions or snapping at your kids or doing all of those things. It's easier and better. What I want to leave you with this week is to fill your life with things that make you feel good as a mom. Okay? It's so much of self-help out there wants you to go out and fix every single thought you have. And I say, like, if you see poison ivy, just walk around it. Okay. Yes, you can use the special soap and you can do all the things, but if you see poison ivy, you're like, just walk around it. And it's like that in our world too. If you see things that make you feel itchy and terrible as a mom, like just go around them. Like don't choose to engage with those things. Most of that stuff is designed to get your goat, to get your attention. And the less attention we give it, the less they will produce it. Okay, being a mom is a big job. Fill your life with media that reinforces that it's a huge job and that you're doing a good job at it. Okay? It's a benefit to your family to fill your life with media that reinforces the good job that you're doing. In addition to that, know that you are in charge of how you feel. That managing your mind gives you the power to choose thoughts that will make you feel better. Okay, choosing good feeling thoughts on purpose. That's what matters, not the situation that you're in. And feeling better makes us better moms. Life will give you enough situations that we don't have to go looking for things that seem to make us feel bad. Take a good look at what gets your attention and manage your mind when those things throw you off course, when they trigger you. Okay. My last little fun thing for you this week is I have a media clip. It's a great scene from Bad Mom 2. I don't know if you've seen the movie, but in it, Kristen Bell's character is asking her therapist why her mom was like that. And it opens with Kristen saying something like, "What's the matter with her? Why does she act like that?" The mom had come to therapy with her and then stormed off. And Wanda Sykes is her therapist, which is hysterical. And Wanda Sykes says something like, You are the matter with her. Wanda goes on, "Your mom was probably pretty normal before she had you. And then you were born and you didn't sleep for 6 months, which means she didn't sleep for 6 months. And then you refused to eat. And when you did eat, you would barf up all over her clothes. And that made your mom a little crazy. And then you fell off your bike and you broke your arm and you got bullied in school. And then you started dating the weird dude with a nose piercing. And all those things made your mom a little more crazy." And then Wanda, like the list Wanda gives just goes on and on. Notice how you feel after you hear a story like that. Do you feel amused, validated, reminded of what a big job being a mom is and how many things have happened to us over the decades we've been mothers? Like when I heard that clip, when that came through in some feed this week, I was like, heck yes, I'm crazy. Who wouldn't be crazy when they live with someone who is irritated by the way I breathe? And when I hear clips like that, I feel a sense of camaraderie with all the other mothers out there that are struggling and doing their best to raise these humans into successful adults and to build strong family relationships. It's a huge job. And that sense of camaraderie, like it makes me feel empowered and happy and stronger and more equipped to do what I need to do. And so I just want to end with, I feel that sense of camaraderie with you all. Y'all are writing me and sending me little notes and letting me know what resonates. And I read and love every single one of them. I'm so proud of you all. You all are doing such great jobs as moms and as dads. And I just want you to see what I can see. And that is that you're a good mom. And you've got this. Talk to you next week. Thanks for listening to Parenting Successful Teens. If you enjoyed today's show, then I've got a treat for you. I have a free guide that teaches you how to get your teenagers to tell you about their day. No more one-word answers. And grabbing this guide is super easy. Just text the phrase, "Get Teens Talking," as all one word, no spaces, to the number 44222. So that's the phrase, "Get Teens Talking," without any spaces, to the number 44222. And then you'll be prompted to give the email address that you want the guide sent to, and then it shows up in your email box just like magic. You know what else is magic? Having teenagers that talk to you. Now, I can't promise that you're going to like everything they have to say, but I can promise better conversations. Grab the guide, and I'll talk to you next week.